So I kind of went ahead and added some post-process effects. Before we see those, because we're using the 2D URP, you need to tick on your camera post-processing first of all. Okay, I don't think we need render shadows. We don't actually have shadows to render, so whatever. Then post-process, you add a volume. Now, keep in mind, depending on your unit version, this might have changed, and you might have to add the components one by one. So let's see what I've added, although it's mostly just me playing around. I've added some bloom. You can see what this does. And ideally, you might want to add texture to this. So you get some lens texture if you want to, although I think because it's pixel art, you don't need to. And then you have your vignette. I always like to put some, so it gives a little bit more focus to the center of the screen. Then you have your lens distortion. Now that's entirely up to you, but I think sometimes pixel art actually looks a little bit better once it's distorted a little bit, because the old TVs you had weren't actually flat as we have now with the monitors. So okay, that's entirely up to you, just a little taste. You can do anything, yeah. Although technically, if you want to be correct, if you want this to be pixel perfect, you will have this off. I like the little bit of distortion it does. I think it gives a little bit more natural feel, so I'm going to keep it. Then split toning has to do with the, with the tone of the screen. You can add on the shadows, you can add a different color. You can play with this and add it as you like. Highlights, for example, you might want to add something warmer to give it a little bit more, and then some dusk chromatic aberration. Okay, it's a simple game, so there's no really the point to go over the top with the effects. And so yeah, that's what I did. We can of course do a lot more with it. But for right now, I think we are fine with this. And you can actually add another volume to this, so it changes depending on what you're doing. So yeah, let's finish this part over here. This was really a short one, just so we catch up with where we are. And on the next one, we're actually going to start doing some bigger changes onto our AI. And the biggest one, of course, will be we're going to have to add, yeah, we're going to change the pathfinder entirely, so we don't have bunching. Actually, let's see if we can replicate this. I saw this on another project actually, so I'm going to try and replicate it. So if we start, yeah, I guess we cannot do it, but if we start walking all over around them, and let's say we duplicate one of these guys, so they have somewhat similar positions or behaviors, they will eventually all fall into the same position, I believe. Okay, I guess they have to set up something wrong, and I'm just going to duplicate this like 10 times and we recreate it like that. Okay, let's try and run. But actually would like to, okay, it's not that bad. Let me, I kind of want to replicate this So give me a second. So I'm going to go on my graph box, and I'm actually going to disable this so I don't grab them at all, because I want to force them to just form even as not just a simple line, they will just walk right onto itself like they do here. Okay, that's what I would like to avoid. So they should have at least some form of local avoidance. Okay, that's the stuff I want to eliminate. Which, okay, most of the old games don't actually have this problem. Well, it's because it depends on with what kind of characters you have on screen, of course. But yeah, you can see that it doesn't really look too good, and I think we can do much better. Okay, so let's finish this part. I wanted to just cover the post-process effects anyways. So once we're back, we're going to do some big changes on our Pathfinder.